Just a quick poll. Are there any chief content officers in the audience that actually have the primary responsibility of managing content, even if your name chief isn't in front of it? Yeah. Again, notice how few people are showing up their hands. It seems probably, I would argue, the most important part of your business is the content that you're publishing. It's the fuel for social media. Yet marketing departments are not putting enough emphasis on the complexities of that process. Quick analysis of the process. There's content planning, which now is probably 60% of what we do. Content creation, content optimization, content distribution, content performance measurement, which leads me into my next question. Is it getting easier to create, optimize, and publish content and to track the impact and the ROI of the content you publish? Is it getting easier to do that? Because if it's not, we're screwed. So let's get some answers. I want to throw that at first to Brett. And Brett, by the way, just continue with my official introductions here. Brett Zucker is the Chief Technology Officer for Bridgeline Digital. Brett?
Yeah, sure. So it's actually getting much easier, right? And when you look at your marketing budgets and you think about the effectiveness of those marketing budgets, you start to see how, as the UI matures, as the technology matures within a CMS, the role of that CMS has completely expanded. So we're not talking about that whole content publishing model anymore. I always liken it to the fishing metaphor, right? You have bait, which might be SEO, it might be pay-per-click campaigns, email campaigns, it might be Facebook campaigns, all of these different pieces, right, that are the keys to driving folks to your traffic to your site. And the hook is that engagement, right? Drive persuasive content when you're actually have visitors on your site. And then the catch, obviously, ultimately, what are those watched events or actions or success metrics, whether that's orders, submissions, registering for seminars, those kinds of things. So I think you're seeing a metamorphosis in the user interface of the tools and the actual underlying technology that allows marketers to take control of that. So, I mean, we're in a football stadium. I'll bring up, we actually work with Washington Redskins and Seattle Seahawks. So you start to think, hey, what are the keywords? What are the campaigns? Whether the team has won or lost, the keywords that they might advertise on Monday might be different. You could follow that entire history of a user from the keyword search now through to the content to present different content based on what they actually searched on to ultimately drive better conversion. And with integrated commerce, now you can start to look at not only the total sales, but what were the margins on that sale, right? So you start, I mean, it's from soup to nuts. As a marketer, you now have the technology to own the relationship from start to finish. And that's, I think, a fundamental shift of where we're seeing things go.
Yeah, I think I'll add the fact that the reason why this process now for managing content, which has obviously become a more complex thing to do, the reason why it's becoming easier for marketers to be able to do this is because content management systems over the last couple of years have metamorphosed into this solution or suite of applications that allow you to do not just one thing. Maybe you can do 4 or 5 different things, not just publishing content. I think what we're seeing now is this technology shift where somebody who's in marketing that's kind of afraid of technology or doesn't understand, or doesn't want to click a button, I think we're starting to see a shift, and that the people that are coming up that have been brought up with technology through schools, colleges, and now getting into marketing, they're not afraid of the website, they're not afraid to click around and learn. But those types of people are now anxious to be able to get a set of tools that are a little bit more complex, but allow them to handle their job, which is obviously becoming more complex. So I think it's a relationship kind of with that marketing technologist and the solutions that allow you to be able to combine these together.
How about just any more comments, and then I'm going to relate this. I'm going to force you into telling the people in the audience how to track ROI and measurements. I'm going to give you one quick tip, but so if you just simply keep track, for example, of when you're publishing content on a website, okay, literally the moment that you publish content, maybe 8 blog posts, 14 articles. And then if you look very simply at your improved listing position the next month, or the amount of traffic that increased on your website, that is a very crude but important way to measure ROI and impact. When are we going to see that type of measurement make its way into a CMS system, or is it there now?
Yeah, it's there. Yeah.
I mean, we're talking global tracking, event tracking, all being married to an analytic engine, whether it's something that a platform comes shipped with, or it's integration with third-party analytics tools. any CMS has that type of capability for a marketer. So I want to make sure, if you're not doing that today, you should be, because it's data. And the idea that taking click history and putting goals associated, how many clicks did it take for someone to associate a goal? That's way too many. People aren't finding things, right? How do I change user experience based on that? And on top of that, this idea of content profiling, which a lot of technology is bringing out. Understanding the mind of an anonymous user based on analytics and click history, and being able to organically change or dynamically change the web experience based on that, and then having the analytics behind the scenes to make better decisions. That's there. So I'll let
So how many people here think that tracking page views is a relative way for you to understand how successful my content is? Nobody wants to say that. Exactly. So the thing for me is that when we talk about analyzing our content, we want to understand what its effect is. The effect of our content is reaching so many different places that we don't necessarily have control of. But when we talk about the combination of analytics and content management, there's a great broad dissection of needs between those two systems, and the fact that I need to be able to come to a place and see how this piece of content on this page affects any particular campaign, whether it's a Facebook campaign, a Twitter campaign, or anything out in video, to be able to understand who's coming to this page, how many times did they come to this page, and then when they came to this page, what did I get out of it? Did I get more conversion out of the people that came from Facebook? Did I get more out of Twitter? Or did I get more out of my video? And I think we see our customers trying to understand that relationship between what effect did I make on this social world with this particular article, this piece of content. I think that's, for me, one of the things that we're trying to integrate as well with all of the things that we do, not just one piece.
Yeah.
I was going to add, a big piece is actually, there's a lot of data already out there, as one of the earlier presenters today. So how you decide to slice and dice whether you consider that success, traffic, conversion, and so on, is there. What the challenge for a lot of people is measuring how much effort did it take us to get that result? How much time did we actually spend on news articles that no one reads? How much is it to do a really cool video, which may have better traffic, rich media, but relative to the time that we put into it, maybe it takes forever to do one of those flash presentations or do some cool viral videos. Maybe you might only get a few hits out of the game blog post, but they're so quick, they're so easy to do, that you can approach this with a long tail approach, get a lot more net traffic, and really when you come back to ROI, you gotta not forget the I. What did I invest in the system? Is my content management system telling me how much time did I put in to these kinds of pages or posts or updates for what I got back? And that's, I think, where a lot of the systems today aren't covering it. That's the kind of thing you're going to start seeing coming out soon.
Yeah, I guess you hit on a good topic here because you're getting everyone fired up. I think we all agree that from a technology standpoint, we're there, right? It may not be that everyone is taking advantage of it, but what I always look at is what can a user actually sit down and do? Right? What can somebody feel comfortable sitting in front of a computer? Because previously marketers wouldn't know how to go to one external email campaign system, how to look at the metrics there to tie directly to the persuasive content that they're trying to drive, to the purchases and the average order size and those kinds of things. But now the tools are there to say, in a single unified user interface that with an underlying platform that shares information across email campaign marketing, content management, commerce, analytics, all of these pieces exists. And so you can actually go out there and you can, in a single UI, not only share the information, but to me, the biggest key is take action on that information. And where we see this going now, and you can start to see our technology, is to recommendations. So to your point of how much time am I spending? Exactly. So what are the hard things to do? What are the easier things to do? Let the system tell you where should you focus your attention based on the impact of all of that bait and what is leading to that hook and then that conversion. And let the system tell you what to do.
Or even have the system react to what's happening.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
We see customers looking at a CMS and building a business rule process engine saying, well, whatever's the most attractive, whatever path is taking the least resistance to get to our persuasive content, let's put that up 80% of the time versus 20% of the time.
Mm-hmm.
Let's have the system react to our customer base and still, instead of having to make a decision on it, but then get the data back on behind the scenes and make sure that it's doing everything correctly, of course. But this idea that systems are now available to you guys to help you make those decisions or actually make the decisions for you, kind of.